What is life right now? I've never heard of a lockdown. What do you mean people can't go outside? What is this disease? That is what? What's up, you guys? It's your girl Marielle, and perfectly. I am here back with another video. So I'm gonna continue my story time. But if you are meeting me for the first time, hi, nice to meet you. You have to go back because it's not gonna make sense to you. I'm telling my story in chronological order, so you literally have to go back and like watch everything. I am doing this intentionally to get you guys up to speed to where I am today. So today's story time is going to be about what life was like when I got to DR. So if I get to DR, it is end of February. It is like February 26th. I get to DR and this is like freedom. So I went from being picked up, incarceration for 10 months, getting to Haiti, negative, and then finally I buy my bus ticket and I'm on a bus. And Haiti and DR is literally, if you know, you know, literally separated by a gate. And so the gate opens and it's like the gate opens and I'm in Dominican Republic. This is my first time in DR. When I was in the States, I couldn't travel. So this is my very first time in Dominican Republic. And I kid you not, as soon as the gates opened, you saw the difference. Vastly. It was a different world. It was like, oh, so y'all mow y'all lawn. Y'all the neighbor that mow your lawn and y'all the neighbor that just, oh, okay. Y'all edges is up. So the border is, like I said, there's armed people who hold this gate closed and the buses come through and there's like I guess like an immigration station where everybody on the bus has to get off. You get your bags checked. Like it's literally like customs, but like ground wise. So you go through the immigration process. They make you open your bag. If there's anything they don't agree, like contraband, they take it. Stuff, I don't know, anything they don't want. But the first time I realized DR was a place that was like a business was right there, because I had like 2 wigs that my aunt sent me, because she know I'm a wig head. So she was like, girl, I'm gonna, you know, put in your little suitcase that your lawyer is dropping off. I stuck 2 wigs in there. God bless my aunt. We're gonna have to make a story time about my aunt. My family. We're gonna, like, literally, I can't speak on my family. I cannot speak on my family without getting emotional. Like, I am the luckiest person on earth when it comes to my support system in that aspect. Like, that little group. Anyway, so my aunt sent me a wig and 2 wigs, and she was just like, you know, I went through and I was trying to think of what you needed, and so I got you some clothes. You know, I'm thinking weather-wise, because I lived in New York, so a lot of my stuff is coats and long sleeve and turtlenecks. But she packed up stuff that I could use, and so underwear. Like, just think of like someone else packing for you and trying to think like, what would she need? She threw a couple little earrings in there. Like, I know you like your little jewelry. Like, she threw 2 watches in there. She was like, here, I know you like your watches. So I get to customs and the guy's like, you can't take those. And I'm like, they're wigs. They're hair. At that point, I had got some braids in Haiti, but I was like, hair? No, you can't take those. You need to dinero. And I'm like, wait, what? So I'm not knowing. I'm coming from US where you can't bribe, what? Dinero. So somebody was like, yeah, girl, you're going in Creole. You're going to have to give them something. Give them something for what? They're wigs. And so there was such a long line behind me before I had to like come to terms with like giving them something. I think I had like an extra $10. I passed it to them and my wigs came with me because I wasn't going to leave my wigs, child. So I saw them throw people's food, like any type of food products they would throw away, but you paid them, they'd let you through with it. So I knew right then, I'm like, oh, that's the type of vibe y'all on? Okay, cool. So I get back on the bus. There are kids like hustling throughout, you know, the process, like telling you they'll help you carry your bags, but you have to pay them. And I remember this one kid, and I could have just beat him up, Haitian kid, and he goes, so you're not gonna give me nothing, because my bag wasn't that big. So I was handling my bag, and everybody told me, be careful, these people are thieves, they'll steal your stuff. So I was like, I got my bag. Now, if you remember, this is 30 years reduced to a carry-on.
So I'm doing everything I can to like protect what little bit I own.
So I had my bag with me. After they looked through it, I closed it up, and I had my bag with me. And this kid kind of was like trying to help me, and I was like, no, sweetie, I got it. Thank you so much. And he goes, now if I kidnap you, it'll be a difference. Like he said something slick, saying threatened to kidnap me since I didn't want to tip him or give him any money for carrying my bag. Now if I snatch you up type thing. And I was just like, see, this is what we're not gonna do. And so I was really upset, and I called my aunt and I was telling her about it, and she was just like, just don't, just keep, you're on a mission, keep it going. So I had gotten on the bus at like 6 a.m. and the whole journey takes about 8 to 10 hours on the bus. And so where I was going was Punta Cana. If you know anything about the way DR is set up, Punta Cana is literally like the tip of the island. So I'm coming from Haiti, which is the opposite, and then I'm driving through all these little towns to get to the capital, and then 2 more hours to Punta Cana. And so by the time I got to the capital, it was already late. So I got a little hotel room, slept there, showered, ate, and then the next morning I got on the bus and I got to Punta Cana. So again, the entire time there, you could just tell life is different here. Life is different here. Like you could tell you're still in a third world country. You still realize you're not in America anymore. Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore. But you're not in Haiti. Like I wasn't scared. This is my first time really, if you think about it, in another country since I've been an adult. I never got a chance to travel. I never got a chance to go out the country, go to like these different trips. So I wasn't familiar with like what it was like to visit other countries as an Americanized person. But for whatever reason, I wasn't afraid. I didn't feel scared. I didn't have a lot of cash on me purposely. So I made sure to, if I lost anything, it wouldn't have been, monumental. I made sure to hide whatever cash I had on me. I told my aunt not to send me, like we strategically, we planned, to make sure that we were safe. So the next morning I got on a bus, got to Punta Cana. When I got to Punta Cana, I told the bus driver, this is where my Airbnb was. I don't know if I told you guys how I literally just mini, miny, mo and picked the Airbnb. I picked one that was the cheapest. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I picked one that was the cheapest. And when I showed the bus driver, this is where I'm going, he was like, no problem, I'll let you know when to get off. And I kid you not, let me tell you something. Let me get on my spiritual thing right now. When something is meant to happen, when God wants something to happen, it's gonna be so effortless. It's gonna be so, I remember fighting tooth and nail to stay in America. I fought so hard. We did everything. We fought, but to no avail. Getting to Punta Cana, getting to sit here was so easy. And nothing has ever been easy for me. I've always had to fight for everything. Getting here was so easy for me that I was like, you know what? Maybe I literally, my brother, the godfather to my son, said, because I was like, I don't know where I'm gonna stay. My ticket is bought, but I don't even know where I'm gonna stay. That's who I stayed with when I was in Haiti. He was like, go to the Airbnb app. My introduction I had always heard about Airbnb, but I didn't travel much. When I did, I stayed in a hotel, so I never had an experience with the Airbnb. He goes, download the Airbnb app and just look for the areas you want to, because somebody else told me something about something called Punta hotels, which are like small hotels that are fully functional. They have kitchens and everything that are discounted prices in DR. And so I was looking into that, but I couldn't find anything. And so he said, go to Airbnb and find an Airbnb. You could even find a room, something reasonable. And I was like, oh, downloaded the app, eeny, meeny, oh, $8 a day. I was like, that's mine right there. Now, mind you, I'm picking an Airbnb that is $8 a day in a country that I know nothing about. So I had every expectation of this being a hellhole. I was just like, God, please accompany me as I go lay my head in this place. Like I was thinking of all the bad things. I get to my stop and I'm looking around. I'm like, because I had it on my Waze, like I was following the direction, and it was like, this is your stop. And I was like, nice area, nice tourist, like all the hotels. I was like, nah. So I get off, I'm calling my host. He's super nice. I'm calling him. I'm like, hey, I'm here. He's like, yep, just go through the gate. Tell him you have a place at da-da-da-da-da, and he's gonna let you in. Just follow along. You're gonna find me. I get there. The subdivision is beautiful. And my host is a young dude. We'll call him E. Young dude, he has 2 dogs, no wife, no nothing. He's about 25, 26. and he shows me the house. The house isn't beautiful, but I felt a sense of peace. I get to my room, which was a small room, and I was like, okay, this is where I'm gonna be staying. I booked them for 2 weeks because the plan, going back, the plan was, I'm now in DR. Everybody was telling me, you speak English, you're gonna get to DR, you'll be able to go to any one of these hotels and you're gonna be able to work. They're gonna put you front, you're gonna be able to work, so you'll be fine. So I booked the room for 2 weeks because that was the timeline I gave myself to get a job, and then we would figure out what happens next. So 2 weeks, February 26th, 27 now, because the next day was the 27th. I get to Punta Cana, I check in my room. First thing I did, I wanted to go to the beach. There's such a feeling of freedom when you're at the beach. So I wanted to go to the beach. So I went to the beach. I remember telling you guys the story about how my dinner, my fish meal was like $120. That was my very first trip to the beach. I go to the beach. I'm literally just laying on the sand. I cried, I laughed, I screamed, I cursed. Every emotion you could think of went through my body laying on that beach. I'm sure people thought I was insane, but I was just like, I am finally free. I am free. But I had no idea what was on the other side of that freedom, but I just knew I was not any longer being woken up by officers telling me it's breakfast time, get up, you can't sit there, you can't do that, shut up, you can't, like, I wasn't dealing with that anymore. And I didn't know what I was getting ready to deal with, but I just knew that chapter was over. And so I'm laying on the beach, I eat, The very next day was Monday. I was to hit the ground running to go find a job. So I get dressed, I got on, my aunt, again, she hooked me up, threw on some button-up shirts, nice slacks, skirts, whatever. I was going to go look for a job. As I'm walking through, because again, every single hotel was within walking distance of E's apartment. So I picked the perfect, till this day, 3 years almost later, I couldn't have imagined picking a better place. Me and E are now like this. We are very close. Like, it was perfect, perfect. I'm walking through these different resorts and they're asking me for something called a cédula. I don't have a cédula. What is that? I have my passport, I have a visa. What is a cédula? Well, we can't even consider you for work if you don't have a cédula. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. And so now I'm realizing another hurdle. And so I go to like 2 to 3 and I'm realizing like this is a common thing. They're requiring a cédula. So what happened is over the years, the government has put in place that Haitians can no longer just come to DR and work on their passports. They need proper documentation. Just like if you go to America, you need a work permit, you need, your green card. And so to make it a little tougher for Haitians, you needed to go through this process that was non-existent to get this cédula that they do not offer you, but you can't work without it. So Haitians are down to doing construction. They work the gardens. They do everything you could think of because that's the only type of job, the hard laborers. They work in gardens, sugarcane, avocados, but they do these jobs because Dominicans won't do them, and they pay them less than nothing. And sometimes they even ship them off when it's time to pay them. And so, yeah, so I was just like, okay, this is gonna be tougher than I imagined. So within a week, March 1st, March 6th, so I've been in DR for now about a week, and then lockdown. So I'm literally like, I just came out of jail. I just got removed. And it was like so many firsts. I was like, what is happening? What's happening? What is life right now? I've never heard of a lockdown. What do you mean people can't go outside? What is this disease? That is what? So I get picked up out of my home, one traumatic experience. I get shipped off to a country I hadn't been to, traumatic experience number 2. So now I'm trying to work through things, making lemonade as I go, and then we get the pandemic. So while everyone else in the world was experiencing, life was going, and then boom, the pandemic, this is what my life was like leading up to the pandemic. So since March 7th of 2019, there hasn't been anything normal about my life. It started with me getting picked up to me getting dropped off so I'm now locked up in the house with E for 8 months. We can only go outside to buy food, and thank God for the internet. That's how so I went from 10 months of lockdown to another 8 months of lockdown. And so we went from March to I think October. Couldn't see my family. They couldn't fly in. The kids were dying to see me. They couldn't come because flights weren't flying. Finally, October gets there and my children come see me. It is a beautiful event.
Kaden. You didn't recognize me?
It's beautiful. And so that was like the beginning of some normalcy. From when the world started to reopen back up, children came to see me, friends started coming, family started coming. That's when life started being a little normal. So we'll stop this story time here. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a window into what happened when I got here. And yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Shout out to E. He is amazing. He is a very good friend of mine. But for now, we're gonna stop here. And once again, thank you guys for keeping up with my story. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.